All right, we're jumping right in today with some absolutely massive news coming out of Amazon. Reports are coming in about the biggest job cuts in the company's entire history. So let's break down what is going on.
So what's the headline number? It's this, 30,000. Sources like Reuters and CNN are saying Amazon is planning to cut as many as 30,000 corporate jobs.
And let me be clear, we are not talking about a minor adjustment here. This is being called the single largest corporate layoff in Amazon's history, period.
So to really wrap our heads around a number like 30,000, we've got to put it into context.
That massive number? It works out to nearly 10% of Amazon's entire corporate staff. I mean, think about that. That's a huge chunk of their white-collar workforce.
Now, it's really important to understand who we're talking about here. These cuts are aimed at the roughly 350,000 salaried employees, the folks in office jobs. This is a totally separate group from the more than 1.5 million hourly workers in Amazon's warehouses around the world.
Okay, so that covers the what of the story. Now for the big question. Why? What in the world is driving a decision this massive?
Well, it really seems to be a perfect storm of factors. First up, they're trying to correct for hiring way too many people during the pandemic boom. Then you've got a major cost-cutting mission from the CEO, Andy Jassy, who wants to simplify the company by, in his words, removing layers of management. And on top of all that, you have a shaky global economy and this huge push for efficiency using new tech. It's a lot, all at once.
You know, this didn't just happen overnight. This has been building for a while. Amazon actually started with rolling layoffs back in 2022. Then just last year, they cut 27,000 jobs, blaming the economy. So what we're seeing now is a huge acceleration of a strategy that's already been in motion.
Okay, but here's the thing. It would be a huge mistake to think this is just an Amazon story. To really get the picture, we need to zoom out and look at the entire tech industry.
Just look at the numbers. While Amazon is definitely leading the pack, they are far from the only ones. This year, Intel has cut 22,000 jobs, Microsoft is at 15,000, and Salesforce at 4,000. This is a sector-wide correction, for sure.
And when you add it all up, the total for this year alone is just staggering. Around 98,000 tech employees have been laid off across more than 200 companies. We are watching a massive industry shakeup happen in real time.
And that brings us to, well, maybe the biggest piece of this entire puzzle. The one that's really looking to the future, artificial intelligence.
And look, you don't have to read between the lines or guess what the company's thinking. Here is a direct quote from a memo Amazon CEO Andy Jassy sent to his staff in June. He says it flat out. They expect AI to reduce their corporate workforce. The strategy is right there, out in the open.
So, as you can imagine, this has kicked off a huge debate. On one side, there's this widespread fear that AI is just going to replace human workers as companies look to automate and cut costs. But then, on the other side of the coin, you have some AI experts pushing back, saying, hang on, these fears aren't really backed up by solid research just yet.
Okay, this is where the story gets really fascinating. Because what's happening at Amazon is a genuine tale of two different workforces, and it kind of reveals their whole strategy.
So, on one side of the coin, you have this, the elimination of up to 30,000 permanent, salaried corporate jobs.
But then, on the other side, at the exact same time, the company announces this. They're hiring 250,000 seasonal employees to get through the holiday rush. They're cutting and hiring on a massive scale, simultaneously. It's wild.
So what does this all boil down to? It leaves us with this massive fundamental question about the future. Are we witnessing the blueprint for a new corporate model? You know, a model with a smaller core of permanent employees, supercharged by AI, and then supported by a huge, flexible, temporary workforce you can dial up or down whenever you need to. That's the big question this story leaves us with.